Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars.
Is there a motion?
In the small Illinois town of Dalton, Mayor Tiffany Henyard has become the center of a mounting scandal that feels as if it were plucked straight from a political thriller. The community, with a population of just over 20,000, is grappling with serious allegations that Henyard has misused her power for personal gain, allegedly funding a lavish lifestyle with taxpayer dollars intended for public services. Reports have surfaced detailing extravagant trips disguised as business expenses, opulent parties, and a reallocation of public resources to support a lifestyle far removed from the realities faced by Dalton residents. This stark contrast between Henyard's alleged excesses and the town's crumbling infrastructure and financial woes has left the community reeling. Many residents feel betrayed by a leader who seems to prioritize personal indulgence over their needs. Henyard's administration has come under fire for what critics characterize as a calculated misuse of power, raising serious questions about accountability. While the mayor reportedly enjoys luxury vacations and fine dining, Dalton is drowning in debt, struggling with basic services and deteriorating facilities. The sharp divide between Henyard's reported lifestyle and the struggles of her constituents has ignited public outrage and left residents questioning their trust in local government. Compounding the crisis is speculation about potential FBI involvement. Rumors of impending raids on the mayor's office have added to the community's anxiety, further intensifying distrust. Henyard's leadership style has become synonymous with scandal, overshadowing any potential achievements. Community forums are rife with anger and disillusionment as residents try to understand how their town has reached such a dire state. The gravity of the situation is underscored by allegations of misusing taxpayer funds for personal travel, with reports indicating that Henyard accumulated a staggering $67,000 in travel-related expenses in just 5 months. This figure is especially alarming for a community already suffering from financial distress. The mayor's luxurious flights, opulent hotel stays, and extravagant dining experiences starkly contrast with the challenges facing Dalton residents, who grapple with failing infrastructure and insufficient services. Critics argue that Henyard's spending exemplifies the disconnect between modern politicians and the constituents they are meant to serve. While the town's financial resources dwindle, essential services and infrastructure projects remain neglected. Residents feel the strain of this mismanagement, leading to increased frustration expressed in public forums, social media, and private conversations. In the face of growing criticism, Henyard has defended her actions as necessary for representing Dalton, yet these justifications ring hollow to many. Residents perceive her claims as insincere and dismissive of their daily realities. The widening gap between the mayor's extravagant lifestyle and the community's urgent needs has deepened the sense of betrayal, as the once cherished image of a dedicated public servant becomes increasingly difficult to reconcile with the allegations of excess. As public indignation mounts, the question of where taxpayer dollars have gone looms large. Critics assert that while Henyard indulges in luxury, Dalton suffers from neglected infrastructure and underfunded essential services. The implications of this financial mismanagement are becoming more visible, with urgent projects postponed and residents feeling the impact of decisions that prioritize personal comfort over community progress. Henyard's governance style, characterized by opulence and dismissive responses to criticism, has created a chasm between her and her constituents. This growing divide raises serious concerns about the town's future, as residents continue to grapple with the repercussions of leadership that appears detached from their needs. The community watches with disbelief and indignation as each new revelation reinforces their concerns about the mayor's priorities and intentions. The escalating scandal surrounding Henyard has morphed into an ongoing saga, with fresh allegations emerging regularly. The town now faces a prospect of reaching a financial and political breaking point. Dalton's residents are left wondering how much longer they can endure this disconnect before decisive action is taken to restore accountability. As the situation develops, the image of Henyard as Dalton's super mayor contrasts sharply with the reality of a community in crisis. The town's future remains uncertain as residents confront the dual challenges of disillusionment and mismanagement. With each new twist in the narrative, the scandal deepens, ensuring that this drama is far from over Henyard's purported lavishness, and her attempts to justify her spending reflect a leadership that has seemingly lost sight of its mission. Each additional expense or questionable decision further distances her from the community she claims to serve. Residents are increasingly left to ponder the implications of a government that prioritizes personal indulgence, while the town suffers the unanswered question looms. How much longer can Dalton endure this disconnect before the situation becomes untenable? With each passing day, the crisis deepens, and residents find themselves grappling with not just the consequences of mismanagement, but also a growing mistrust of the very leadership meant to advocate for their well-being. This unsettling chapter in Dalton's history continues to unfold, with many eager for resolution and accountability.
The government always does it, is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're...
Despite numerous attempts to access spending records through legal channels, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her team have repeatedly refused to release the documents, even defying a direct order from the Illinois Attorney General. It ultimately took a lawsuit filed by GBN News to penetrate the veil of secrecy surrounding Henyard's financial dealings. What reporters uncovered has sent shockwaves through Dalton, revealing a web of defiance and questionable financial practices that could rival any Hollywood thriller. The findings paint a troubling picture of an administration operating with little regard for transparency, accountability, or the town's financial realities. Henyard's alleged misconduct extends beyond personal expenditures, drawing scrutiny toward her controversial nonprofit, the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. Presented as a noble initiative to assist cancer patients, critics argue that the foundation operates more as a personal piggy bank, funding the mayor's lavish lifestyle. Founded with a $110,000 donation from Thornton Township, the foundation has raised significant concerns due to its failure to register with the state or file legally required financial disclosures. This lack of transparency has led to speculation that a significant portion of the funds has been funneled into Henyard's luxury expenses, including high-end trips and designer goods, all under the guise of charitable work. For many residents, these revelations represent a profound betrayal, especially against the backdrop of Dalton's mounting financial struggles, deteriorating services, and ballooning public debt. Henyard's refusal to adequately address these concerns, instead portraying herself as a victim of politically motivated attacks, has deepened frustration and mistrust within the community. While she paints the accusations as a smear campaign, her indulgences, extravagant travel, upscale dining, and luxury purchases stand in stark contrast to the economic hardships faced by Dalton residents. The scandal surrounding the nonprofit has only exacerbated the situation, leading residents to wonder how a foundation, supposedly created for altruistic purposes, could operate with such blatant disregard for accountability. The drama surrounding Henyard has starkly illuminated the disparity between the administration's priorities and the community's urgent needs. Basic services in Dalton remain neglected, infrastructure continues to crumble, and trust in local government is at an all-time low. As allegations against Henyard mount, many residents view her actions as emblematic of leadership that prioritizes personal comfort and power over public service, eroding any faith in the administration's commitment to the town's well-being. As investigations unfold, the extent of the alleged misuse of public and charitable funds casts a dark shadow over Henyard's tenure as mayor. The ongoing issue of accountability lies at the heart of the scandal. Despite mounting allegations, Henyard has shown little willingness to cooperate with investigators or provide meaningful transparency, instead doubling down on claims of political sabotage. These defenses ring hollow to a community already disillusioned by repeated instances of secrecy and financial irresponsibility. Residents are left questioning not only Henyard's leadership, but also the systems that allowed such behavior to go unchecked for so long. How could an administration steeped in allegations of corruption and excess operate so brazenly in a town struggling to make ends meet? For Dalton, the stakes are extraordinarily high. The town's financial future, already precarious, grows increasingly worrisome with each new revelation. Meanwhile, Henyard's political career hangs in the balance as investigations gain momentum and public outrage continues to swell. Federal investigators and watchdog organizations are reportedly keeping a close eye on the situation, suggesting that the fallout from Henyard's alleged actions could extend far beyond Dalton's borders. The broader implications of this scandal resonate deeply, serving as a cautionary tale about the consequences of unchecked power and the erosion of public trust in local government as the walls close in on Henyard. The people of Dalton grapple with a sense of betrayal and a desire for answers. Calls for accountability grow louder, with many demanding a complete audit of Henyard's expenditures, the foundation's finances, and the town's operations under her administration. While the mayor maintains her innocence, public opinion has largely turned against her, fueled by a series of scandals that seem too egregious to ignore.
Absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you
The recent $33,000 shopping spree by Mayor Tiffany Henyard has not only shocked residents, but also ignited a series of controversies that resemble a dramatic soap opera. The involvement of attorney Beau Grimley, known for representing dubious clients, raises serious questions about Henyard's judgment and the potential abuse of power within her administration. Henyard claims she was fired in retaliation for speaking out, adding another layer to this complex narrative as observers sift through the unfolding scandal. Many are left wondering how one person could create such a whirlwind of controversy in a short time. The allegations against Henyard, including extravagant spending of taxpayer money and misuse of public funds, have intensified public scrutiny and diminished trust in local government. Her infamous Amazon spree is just one example of how her leadership style appears to prioritize personal indulgence over community welfare. Critics argue that the administration has focused on political maneuvering rather than genuine improvements for the town of Dalton. While headlines swirl around lawsuits and high-profile legal battles, the residents bear the brunt of Henyard's alleged misdeeds. Their confidence in local leadership continues to erode, raising calls for accountability, and reform. Legal experts and political analysts question how long this chaotic situation can persist. The hiring of a controversial lawyer like Grimley seems to indicate that Henyard is more invested in her own defense than in transparent governance. With accusations of misconduct and retaliation surfacing, the narrative surrounding her administration has transformed from a cautionary tale of small-town politics into a broader saga of corruption and mismanagement. As the scandal deepens, residents and critics alike are left to ponder the implications of a leader seemingly more concerned with her own interests than those of her constituents. The cloud of doubt hanging over Henyard's tenure highlights significant issues that could redefine local governance if left unaddressed. The escalating scandals surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard are not just headlines. They are a significant threat to Dalton's future. As federal investigations loom and lawsuits stack up, the community is feeling the repercussions of her alleged mismanagement. With essential public services suffering, the town stands on the brink of a disaster as Henyard clings to her position amidst a storm of accusations. Residents are growing increasingly impatient, questioning how much longer they can tolerate her leadership before demanding real change. Many Dalton residents are finding their collective patience wearing thin. The drama has reached an intolerable level, overshadowing the urgent work that needs to be accomplished. Schools require funding, streets are in dire need of repairs, and social programs are struggling to stay afloat. Instead of addressing these pressing issues, Henyard's administration is engulfed in lawsuits, such as the one in Las Vegas, which divert attention from the community's critical needs and create a toxic cycle of mismanagement and distraction. How did Henyard arrive at this precarious juncture? Rumors suggest that the FBI has begun investigating her and her close associates, allegedly uncovering enough evidence to imprison her for over 20 years. Yes, you read that correctly. This once celebrated people's mayor, who rose through the ranks to take office in 2021, now seems more like a figure from a cautionary tale about power and its corrupting influence. Critics describe her leadership as dictatorial, marked by a penchant for playing the victim whenever she faces criticism, often framing her detractors as adversaries of a strong black woman. At a recent board meeting, tensions boiled over as locals expressed their dissatisfaction with her leadership. The atmosphere became so heated that police had to intervene, particularly as the FBI's investigation loomed in the background. Calls for her resignation have intensified, with some branding her America's worst mayor. The growing chorus of voices demanding transparency, accountability, and even refunds for mismanaged funds indicates that Henyard's days in office may be numbered. One resident succinctly captured the sentiment at a town meeting, stating, "You're not accountable to the town. You don't respect people who disagree with you, and you're not qualified for that seat." This growing dissatisfaction is fueled by reports of Henyard's extravagant spending habits and manipulation of township funds. Carmen Carlisle, a former whistleblower, revealed that Henyard has exploited her position to expand her influence while projecting a false image of success. The financial situation in Dalton has deteriorated alarmingly. A special investigation led by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot revealed that the town's general funds balance plummeted from a surplus of $5.61 million in April 2022 to a shocking deficit of $3.65 million by May 2024. This represents an almost $10 million swing in just over 2 years. Such dramatic shifts highlight not only poor management, but also potential outright waste. With thousands spent on lavish accommodations and dubious credit card transactions, Henyard has reportedly engaged in spending sprees that defy explanation, including an alleged $443,000 Amazon purchase in a single day. Residents are rightfully asking, why would someone spend over $40,000 on Amazon in one day? Such extravagant habits have raised eyebrows and intensified scrutiny, especially given the town's current financial struggles, as state funding remains uncertain. Officials like Mendoza have expressed frustration over Henyard's inability to provide essential financial data. The situation has grown dire enough that unprecedented measures may need to be taken to safeguard the interests of Dalton's citizens. Mendoza stated, "My office will use every resource at its disposal to safeguard the interests of Dalton citizens," which is precisely what is occurring at the moment amid the scandal. Henyard's detractors are multiplying. One local attendee at a recent town meeting passionately shouted, "You know what happened in Vegas. You should be addressing it." This sentiment captures the growing disillusionment with her administration. Meanwhile, Chief Lacey, who has faced allegations of bankruptcy fraud for allegedly hiding assets, has drawn scrutiny as well, with some suggesting that his indictment may be part of a broader federal investigation linked to Henyard. The atmosphere in Dalton is increasingly charged, and it seems that many within Henyard's inner circle are either jumping ship or finding themselves caught in the crossfire. As residents grapple with the unfolding drama, they are left wondering what it will take to bring about meaningful change. Will the FBI's investigation be the final straw, or will Henyard manage to navigate her way through this turbulent chapter and maintain her grip on power? Former top aide Keith Freeman, also embroiled in scandal, has been charged with bankruptcy fraud, further entrenching the sense of crisis within the administration. As the residents of Dalton question the integrity of their leadership, they seek accountability and hope for a return to responsible governance. Will Henyard find a way to escape the mounting pressure, or is her time in office truly running out as the saga of Tiffany Henyard unfolds? The people of Dalton are left watching a slow-motion train wreck, pondering what the future holds for their community and its leadership. Will they finally receive the accountability they desperately need? Or will Henyard continue to deflect and evade the consequences of her actions? Only time will tell how this drama will conclude, but one thing is clear. The residents of Dalton deserve better than the chaos that has come to define their town's leadership.